So at 25, I left the corporate world and changed Australia's real estate market forever. I'd never run a business before, never bought property. I didn't have any of the usual skills you would need. But 8 years later, my company had bought over $3 billion worth of property. And in this video, I want to share the surprising secrets of how I did it and how I'll do it again if I was starting over. Honestly, I fell for a common trap right at the start of my career. After finishing school, I followed the typical path of studying at uni and then got lucky enough to land a 9-to-5 at a big corporate company. It was a good start to my career, stable job, decent pay, nice co-workers, except for one thing. I hated it. I felt like a cog in a machine. I lost touch with my interests and passions. And the worst part was, instead of looking for ways to change things, I was just trying to get by every single day. See, when you've got comfort and security, it's easy to keep your head down, ignore how you feel, and tell yourself you're doing the right thing. But looking back, I realized I didn't value my time, so I wasted it. Luckily, something forced my hand. I caught a break that changed my career forever, and I can't thank my lucky stars enough. I got laid off. The funny thing was, as my boss was telling me, I felt a mix of panic about my future, but also a strange sense of relief. It was the push I needed to start my journey to success. The moment I stopped chasing other people's goals and started doing what I wanted. And the good news is, you can do the same without having to get laid off. If you want to escape the 9-to-5 and start your own business, there are 3 questions you need to ask yourself. When I had an answer for each of these, my business took off. Here's how it happened. After getting made redundant, I took a trip to California, and though I didn't realize it at the time, I learned the most important lesson of my career. As I explored the state, I discovered something that shocked me. You see, I'd been interested in property investment since I was 17. Because it seemed like a way to build wealth without relying on the volatility of the stock market or the slow burn of index funds, I'd even looked into buying a house. And I just accepted the endless research to find the right one as part of the process. But in California, people hired buyer's agents who helped them find the right properties to get the best deals. In Australia, they didn't exist. Instead, people were relying on real estate agents. And if you don't know much about real estate, those guys get paid a percentage of each property sale they make, meaning they're literally working against the buyer to sell the property for as much money as possible. Looking back now, I can appreciate what I learned that day. When you're looking for a business idea, it's easy to start by looking around you at other businesses. You see what they're doing and wonder if you could do something similar. We rarely think of a business as just solving a problem, but that's the only reason they're in business. Uber solved the problem of unreliable and expensive taxis. Airbnb solved the problem of finding affordable accommodation. Or Spotify, they solved the problem of getting a lot of music cheaply and easily. If you're not solving a painful problem for your customers, they're never going to hand over their hard-earned cash for it. And that day in California, I'd found a huge problem, one that affected hundreds of thousands of Australians a year, costing them millions of dollars. I immediately knew this could be massive back home, and I wanted to be the one to make it happen. So if you want to start your own business, the first question to ask yourself is this: what problem would you like to dedicate your time to solving? That's step 1. But I didn't start making money until I could also answer the next question. When I got home, I knew I was onto something big, but there were some serious challenges ahead. How was I going to win over the investors or close new clients without a track record? I had a lot to learn, but I knew I could do it because I had something other entrepreneurs didn't. It wasn't connections or money. I only had $5,000 to get my company off the ground. It was a mindset shift that took me from working 40-hour weeks at my corporate job to 100-hour weeks for myself. I remember going on dates back there with my girlfriend. We'd go out for dinner at a restaurant, and instead of chatting, I'd read a book while I waited for the food. My girlfriend wasn't too impressed, but it helped me build my business. I did it because for the first time, I had this incredible sense of purpose. It came from finding a problem that not only mattered to others, but also deeply mattered to me. I'd experienced firsthand the struggles of buying property, the endless research, the confusion, the doubt when you finally do find a good one. I knew what it was like to be up against a real estate agent whose job it was to get as much money from the buyer as possible. And I knew the worry that you'd been conned when you finally did reach a deal. So once you had some ideas for what problem you'd like to solve, ask yourself, why do you want to solve it? Having a purpose is magnetic to people around you because most of them don't have one. Look, I had the scorecard stacked against me. I was 25, never started a business, never worked in sales, never worked as a real estate agent or buyer's agent. I only graduated university a few years back, but none of that mattered. When I shared my vision with people and showed them my passion for the business, I won them over. They could see I'd found this crazy opportunity and I was going to make it happen, no matter what. And with that, we went from a 2-person startup to one of Australia's fastest growing small businesses, averaging 150% growth year on year. After a few years, we turned over $3 million in annual revenue and grew to 27 employees. So instead of thinking about what your business will do, ask why it will do it. With that, there's one more question to answer. Otherwise, you might spend thousands of dollars on your product only to get beaten by the competition. Look, you might have an idea for your business. It might be a problem you care about solving, and you think other people will love your solution. But how do you really know? See, once we land on a problem, our brains naturally jump straight into how will we solve it. That makes sense. We're excited. But just because we are, doesn't mean our customers will be. All they care about is getting the best solution. So if you don't deliver that, they will go to someone who does. But here's the thing, as a startup, that's great news. If your solution's better than what's out there, you can grow fast and beat the competition. We weren't the first buyer's agency in Australia, just the first to do it well. So we captured the market while our competitors were getting nowhere. But it didn't happen by itself. When I came back from California, we still had a lot to learn. If we hadn't listened to our customers and taken their feedback on board, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. So don't assume you know all the answers. If you don't talk to people, you'll make the perfect solution for one person, yourself. The best part is you can start this today. In fact, you should start before you have a business, or you will waste thousands of dollars building the wrong thing. If you can find people who share your problem, whether online or in real life, you can ask them what they really want. Their answers might surprise you. So the last question to ask yourself is, what makes your solution the one people can't live without? For my latest business, I realized that a lot of people were stuck in the same place I was after university, feeling trapped, working a job they didn't like. And I had a great solution. After training dozens of buyer's agents, I knew that a lot of people loved their job. You get to work for yourself, earn way more than most people, and best of all, help your clients solve a real problem in their life. So I set up a training institute teaching everyday people how to turn buying property into a career. And if being a buyer's agent sounds interesting to you, click this video to hear more about it.